right. Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Power Hitters Club Elite weekly webinar. This is episode number 218, New and Reinstated Professional Targeting Options. Big news. It'll make a lot of advertisers very happy. Actually, lots to cover today. So how's it going to work? It'll be about 30 minutes, give or take. I'll start with a rundown of the latest developments to impact you as an advanced Facebook advertiser. We will have time for Q&A at the end, so make sure you send in those questions as you got them. Yes, of course, we're recording. I typically get the recording ready for you within about 45 minutes after we're done. I'll email you a link that'll have a collection of the embedded video, downloadable audio if you want it, recap of what we discussed, and related links, really what I'm pulling all this from. And you can watch all the 218 replays if you want to at powerhittersclub.com for the PHC Elite members, or just for PHC Elite and PHC Basic within the Facebook groups. We've got units created for that. So, yeah, what are we going to cover today? First of all, thanks to our friend Luke, who published another great and informative post on new and reinstated professional targeting. Should make a lot of people happy. New authorization process for U.S. pages. Well, I say U.S. pages. It's basically larger pages with the U.S. audience. And so there's nothing specific regarding what class qualifies as a larger audience or a larger page. I can tell you that my page, at least one of them, qualifies, which is really weird. When I went through the process, there's really no indication of which page I was authorizing, but I assume it's the John Loomer Digital page. So I'll give you the rundown of that, as well as I even took screen grabs of everything I was doing when I went through the authorization to give you an idea what that is. Facebook launches mentorships. This is something that they were piloting for quite some time, so now you should start seeing it more. I can tell you I don't believe I have it in my groups, but something to look for. Turn images into video ads. That's a really misleading. I couldn't think of a good way to put that. Basically, Facebook put out a kind of a how-to post recommendation on, instead of using static images, use videos, and kind of gave some examples of that. That I thought it was pretty helpful. So, restricting ads for addiction and bail bonds, specifically addiction clinics. So I don't know how many of you are going to have clients that want ads in those areas, but just be aware if you are. Facebook deletes posts that financially trick people. This was apparently some wording that's been added recently that should allow them to kind of expand their net a little bit when it comes to knocking out spam and scams and stuff like that. Lookalike audiences and exclusions, a question that came into PHC Elite that really very common. I swear I've just seen the carbon copy of this question so many times. Figured we'd talk about it today. Facebook shutting down friends list feeds. Definitely not really a marketing thing, but just a heads up, I guess. Collect leads from Canvas contact forms. So we talked, I believe it was last week, if not the week before, about using Canvas. Now you can embed a contact form, which is basically like a lead ad form. So we stepped through the process of how to do that. Well, this week I wrote a blog post and, wouldn't you believe it, did a quick video tutorial on how to collect those leads. It's a little bit different from lead ad form leads. So just to be aware there. Yeah, we'll get to that quick video tutorial. And then PHC Elite Happy Hour tomorrow. So if you're in PHC Elite, make sure you're not bashful, not shy. Drop by. We'll get to the Q&A at the end. Okay, so let's start. New and reinstated professional targeting. So as many of you are probably very aware, over the last few months, as Facebook has kind of been under scrutiny for many different things, privacy related, some of it being targeting, they said they were temporarily removing some targeting. So they're reinstating some of that. and additionally adding some targeting that wasn't there before. So the categories include job titles, employers, field of study, education. So specifically, they tell you exactly what you can find. So under page admins, and actually I'll show you some details on the specific types of page admins. Then employer targeting. So under the demographics, you can now target employers. Job title targeting, which that had gone away for a while. School targeting, and field of study targeting. And it looks like that's not particularly robust at this time. But I think the biggest one provides some new options is in page admins, because back in the day you could do page admins, but it was just very general. It's like, oh, I'm going to target anyone who's a page admin, which is, well, what kind of page is it? So yeah, it leads us to the blog post that our friend Luke wrote. So he's very active within PHC Elite, PHC Basic as well. He's a member of the team, and he's been helping out quite a bit writing content lately. So this was, one of the main things was under page admins that Facebook now breaks it out a little bit by type of page admin. So business page admin, community and club, again, the general Facebook page admin, food and restaurant, health and beauty, retail, sports page, travel and tourism. And within the blog post, Luke also kind of helps you see just how huge these audiences still are. And of course, there's some overlap there. I would assume it's people who are admins of multiple pages, but it could be pretty useful for those of you who lost some targeting. New authorization process. And again, I've kind of tried to crop these titles a little bit, but it's for larger pages with the U.S. audience. So Facebook really trying to crack down on bad actors and whatnot. So they've got this new authorization process that they hope will make it harder for people to administer a page using a fake or compromised account. So this new authorization will ask people to secure their account with two-factor authentication and also confirm their primary country location. That primary country location is going to come up, and I'll show you where here in a second. So if you qualify here and a page manager, so again, this isn't the page, it's the people managing the page that are going to be required to be authorized. You'll receive a notice at the top of your news feed to be in the process. That's exactly what I got today. And really, it only takes a couple of minutes. But the enforcement is the enforcement hasn't started yet, but when it does, these individual people, not the entire page, won't be able to post on their page unless they complete that process. Ooh, right? So this is what it looks like. So I received this. Just imagine this was on desktop at the top of my news feed. It says page publishing authorizations. Because you manage a page with high potential reach, hey, thank you. We're asking you to secure your account so only you can access the pages you manage, and confirm your primary country location. So basically, it's two things there: trying to just keep it secure, but also want you to confirm where you're from, because now that's going to be indicated within the page info. Now, I don't know if you can get around that, because it was my understanding that you'd have to send some proof about your primary country location. So that's where you personally live. And yeah, they're saying complete it by August 28th or sorry. So after clicking that, it shows that the page publishing authorization is in progress. And there are two different things I need to do. Now, one, it's basically I've already done. And so I had done this long ago, apparently. Confirm your primary country location. I could update if I wanted to. I probably should have gone in there to update to see what would happen if I did. So that's my mistake. But otherwise, secure your account. So anytime you log in from a device that Facebook doesn't recognize, it'll ask for a login code. So to secure your account with two-factor authentication, continue, and basically have the option of either having Facebook send you a text message or use an authentication app like Google Authenticator or Duo Mobile. and it'll generate login code. So I use the text message option. It quickly sent me my 6-digit code, entered it, and we're good to go. And 2-factor authentication is now on. So if anyone tries to hack me, Facebook will be able to prevent them from accessing. Easy enough. So the other thing is they're going to add more information to the page info screen. So people will start seeing more details in the info and ads that includes, if you've merged your page, that's going to show the under the page history that'll appear there. But also a section called People Who Manage This Page will surface the primary country locations pages are managed from. And that's why I was asked that. Now, I don't think it's going to indicate the names of these people, but rather their primary location. So this is what that's going to look like if you're wondering. So we've got page history, indicates that there was a merger, they changed their name. Like all these things could be really useful when spotting pages that are being very deceptive, right? And then the people who manage the page doesn't indicate what their names are, but the countries that they're from and how many people from each country. Could matter, I guess. So interesting. All right, so Facebook's launching finally this mentorship option. It's really a feature that's going to be built into Facebook groups to make it easier for people who want to help achieve their goals, to connect with others in their community, learn more stuff and whatnot. So they piloted it last year, bringing it into groups, but now it's going to be rolled out. So basically there are 4 steps to how mentorships work. So first of all, the group admin, which would be me, and a few others, we could create a mentorship program. So you choose from a variety of templated programs like career advancement, skill development, something that maybe we could use, encouragement and support, and then you sign up. People sign up and are matched with their mentor or mentee. So you can sign up to either be a mentor or mentee, and the group admin would then pair those people together. Pairs are then introduced, so they get to know one another, go through a program of various steps in their one-on-one mentorship program, and they can share and comment. Now, all this stuff is private, by the way, and they get step-by-step guidance. So they go through this guided program and encourage them to check back daily or weekly. So here's an example. This is, meet your mentor, learn more about this person. So you've got specific steps within that mentorship program. So get to know one another. Oh, it looks like they completed that. I assume that just goes into Messenger or whatever. Learn about online resources, know your needs, start a plan. So it's unclear what happens when you go through any of these. But, and I checked PHC Elite. We don't appear to have, I would assume it would be within the group settings. I don't see it. I didn't check any of my other groups at this time. But something for you to check if you're a group admin. See if you've got this. Start checking it out. See if it's something that might be useful to you. So Facebook put out an interesting blog post that I think is pretty helpful in terms of giving you some ideas for taking static images and making them more interesting. So, why would video be more useful than a static image? Well, Facebook says they conducted 49 studies with brands using the methods that they recommend. And they saw a positive outcome for 69% of those brands. And it's for some of them, like Shopback, they saw a 5.5 times better conversion rate, 5.7 times lower cost per registration. And so basically it's these 4 different options. There's a basic motion where you animate your still image by adding only 1 or 2 elements of motion in a few seconds. It includes CTA. Then branded motion, where you bring the elements of your brand or logo to life in a few seconds to promote brand recognition. Benefit in motion, basically you're adding the benefits but kind of cycling them through with animation. Demo in motion, where you kind of demo the product or service or whatever it is, using video instead of just using a static image. So once you know it, I took video of this. So this is an example of static image, and then here's basic motion. Here's brand in motion, so it's really just branding stuff there. And then there's benefit in motion, so it highlights all the various benefits of this product, as opposed to just using the static image. So easy enough. So good stuff. If you're interested in that PHC Elite, check the Power Hitters Club replay. Restricting ads for addiction clinics and bail bonds. So based on feedback from people and experts, Facebook said they'll allow only pre-certified addiction treatment centers to advertise people in the United States. And they're now going to prohibit ads that promote bail bonds. So if you do want to promote an addiction treatment center, you have to go through this whole approval process. And if you want to promote bail bonds, too bad. You can't. So that's the latest. Details on that, again, I'll provide a link to PHC Elite members. Oh, yeah. This one. So Facebook's deleting posts to trick people. Good. That's good plan, I guess. This goes from TechCrunch. So this is kind of spurred on by the Alex Jones stuff, I think, but it seems to be kind of unrelated in a lot of ways. But it says, we do not, for example, allow content that could physically or financially, so that seems to be the part that's added, endanger people, that intimidates people through hateful language, or that aims to profit by tricking people using Facebook. And it goes on to, I think this was our friend Josh Constein, says we did some web searches and show this is the first time Facebook's used the language regarding financial attacks. So why is this important? Because it means that Facebook's policy now encompasses threats of ruining someone's credit, calling for people to burglarize their homes, blocking them from employment. And so there are a lot of things like in the past, it's been more like a physical threat where you can delete it and ban people and take them down and whatnot. So this expands in that a little bit more. So this allows them to fight against spammers, scammers, shady businesses. So yeah, marketers, Facebook has even more tools now to take you down if they think that what you're doing is deceptive and trying to trick people. So some would say most advertisements are designed to trick people in order for a business to earn a profit. I don't know about all that. But, he goes on to say Facebook's more likely to shut down obvious grifts where businesses make impossible assertions about how their products can help people rather than just exaggerations about their quality or value. So a question that came in from PHC Elite, and again, I swear we get this question once every other week. Came from Milas. Says, is there a way to exclude a saved audience from a lookalike audience trying to prevent overlap? So, I find it really interesting that it's always this type of question. It's not just excluding from a lookalike audience, but it's always the saved audience wording. And so my response, I think the problem that most people are thinking about excluding audiences when creating the lookalike audience. But instead, what we should be doing is create the lookalike audience, without feeling like we got to exclude stuff from it. Then exclude people you don't want to reach. So custom audiences, interests, things like that within the ad set. Okay? So wouldn't be the saved audience. It'd be picking out those individual things you want to exclude. So whatever goes, people always use the saved audience stuff as something, you can't exclude a saved audience in anything. All a saved audience is saving a collection of all these targeting demographics, whatever. The collection of custom audiences and age, gender, location, interests, whatever. It's so saving them so you don't have to input them manually all the time. So in this case, you could technically create a saved audience of the lookalike audience and everything you want to exclude, but you can't, quote unquote, exclude a saved audience. It doesn't make any sense. So just a really easy example of that would be, okay, I'm going to target this lookalike audience, excluding the people who are already registered for this thing. But we could easily be excluding interests or targeting by age or country or whatever to limit this lookalike audience in some way. Make sense? I hope. All right, so Facebook shutting down the friend list feeds. Again, not really a marketing thing, but just a heads up. If you create a feed of just people who are in certain friend lists, like family, work, best friends, whatever, you can still use that stuff for targeting, but Facebook's taking that away for like generating a feed that you just want to read posts from those people, in case you care. I doubt anyone used them anyway. Collect leads from Canvas form. So I believe we talked about it last week too, but this time I wrote a blog post on this one, and so make sure you check it out. But a really cool new feature. So something that people have been spotting for a while, that while it was being tested, you'll see canvases that embedded a lead form essentially in it. Like, wow, how did they do that? Well, now we know how, as it's being rolled out. So now that it's there, and we talked about creating these things. Well, how do you actually collect the leads? That's a question I kept getting. And the honest truth is, when I initially talked about it and wrote the article about creating canvases with lead ad forms, I didn't know how to collect the leads either, because I hadn't run one yet. Well, I've since experimented with one, and now I see. So it's a lot like the lead ad forms, but not in all cases. So, for example, there's a column within the ads tab that's for leads form, and when you click on that, you can export the leads. And then if you don't see that column, which I don't know why you wouldn't, but if you don't see that column within the ads tab, you can customize columns and just search for leads form and add that column. So that's one way, is within Ads Manager. But otherwise, within Publishing Tools, you may recall you can get your leads from your lead ad forms library. Now, when you go there, though, you're going to get this message at the top. If you create a form using a Canvas template, you can find it in the Canvas section of your Publishing Tools. So you can either click on that link or just go down the bottom here, click on Canvas. And then there, you'll see these new forms, and whether you have any leads, and if you do, you click on that button to download those leads. And then there's a matter of using Zapier, because or some sort of third-party tool. Because that was a question I was getting from a lot of people. Like, does Zapier still work, or do any of these third-party tools still work? They do. Now, there's definitely some quirks to this. So you'd still use the Facebook lead ads trigger app. Again, this is just for Zapier Premium. But here's the problem. Once you then try to select a form, you don't name that form when you're adding it to a canvas, like you do when you create a lead ad form and you name it. Because when you create those lead ad forms, they come up in your search here, and they're easy to find. Now you got this get new customers, blah, blah, blah. And like, what the heck is that? So which is which, right? Excuse me. So if you edit your ad, you'll actually find it. So get new customers, 8/10/2018, 9:27 a.m. So if I go back and look, 8:10, 9:27 a.m., it's right there. So I would select that one. So that would be my trigger app. Makes sense? So the other thing is, what about targeting? So could you create audiences? As I was here about with lead ads, well, you can create audiences of people who open your lead ad form, who submit them, who open and didn't submit. So yeah, this still falls under that lead ad form creation. So it's under engagement, and know that really there are two different ways now we can target people who engage with a lead ad form, or really your canvas, right? So you've already got the full screen experience custom audience you can create, but you can also create this lead form custom audience. And when you do, yes, it'll be anyone who opened the form, or people who opened but didn't submit, people who opened and submitted. And then it's going to be the same thing. You type in get new customers, and you're going to see all these, and you're going to have to find the ones that are associated with that particular canvas form that you want to target or exclude. But yeah, the other one was just creating a canvas custom audience as well that you could do, but that's not going to be related to actually the lead ad form within that canvas. Makes sense? So that leads us to this week's quick video tutorial. And so that's number 71, and we'll walk through it real quick. If you missed any of that, So we're going to go through the 3 different ways of collecting them. First, within the ads tab under lead form, you just click on that link to download it. Otherwise, if you don't see that, customize columns, and you just type in the search leads form, and it'll come up and you can add that column. That's the first way. Otherwise, within your publishing tools, you'll notice here, again, it's going to say if you create this within Canvas template, you have to go there. So we'll scroll down to the bottom, go down to Canvases, and there you go. Found one. We're going to get that lead, download it there. Finally, Zapier. Make sure Facebook lead ads is your trigger. Save and continue. We got to find now that how that's named. So it's within the ad itself, and then there it is. It's one of these. Who knows? Easy enough. Okay. Once again, you can watch all 71 now of those quick video tutorials at powerhittersclub.com. It's under the top menu for PHC Elite or PHC Basic. You'll find video tutorials. Quick reminder for PHC Elite, we have our virtual happy hour tomorrow. 4 p.m. Eastern. I blocked out the link there within Zoom because it's for PHC Elite members only, and I know PHC Basic members can get this too. If PHC Basic, if you want to join in on our happy hours, we do it about once a month or once every other month. Get upgraded to PHC Elite. Basically, it's just like attending a happy hour. It's funny because JR and I talked about this recently about masterminds, and this is essentially what is kind of like a mastermind virtual, but I want it to be casual. I don't want it to be high pressure and seem like some really big important thing. It's a happy hour, hanging out in the bar, talking about business, talking about things, strategies, successes, obstacles, questions you might have, anything that you want to share with the group. Everyone's an equal in there too, so it's really cool. So that's tomorrow. If you want details on that PHC Elite, make sure you check the Facebook group, and I hope to see you there. All right, ask me anything time. So I think there's some confusion here. Because John says, I have to plead ignorance here. Are they releasing a video creation feature to support that creative, or is it just advice for creating the videos on your own? And then Kathy goes on to say, if it's a new feature, the video from images, how is it different from slideshows? Yeah, I think there's some confusion there. I think Tracy was confused too because she shared it within at least PHP Basic. And I wasn't sure either. You have to kind of read pretty closely. It does not look like it's an actual tool. It's just a kind of like their process that they recommend. They call it something. I don't even remember what they call it. For these different ways of using video instead of static images. So unless I'm missing something, there's no such tool. You can create these and they can end up being like slideshows or whatever. But the main thing is they're saying there are 4 different ways, 4 different methods of creating video to help promote your product or your brand. And so that's it. John Taylor goes on to ask a quick note about 2-factor authentication and Zapier. It broke all of my lead format zaps. I had to have my clients give me leads access all over again. Interesting. So John, are you saying that you had 2-factor authentication connected to Zapier, or the fact that you set it up on Facebook broke all your zaps? Because if just setting up on Facebook broke all your zaps, then I guess I need to be a little concerned about that myself. I'll wait a couple seconds here. I know we have a delay as well. Yeah, he's set up on Facebook. Great. So something for me to look forward to. And just a heads up for everybody else then who set up two-factor authentication when Facebook asks you to do that. That could create some issues with your integrations. Anything that integrates with your Facebook account, Facebook leads, things like that. Could be a problem. we're already at 30 minutes here. I'll wait a couple seconds. All right. Well, if anyone has any other questions, comments, concerns, feel free to drop them in the comments. Once again, I will get this replay out to you within the hour. I'll have everything you need in it. And those of you in PhD Elite, I hope to see you at happy hour tomorrow. Don't be bashful. Look, I'm not the most social person either. It's even a little scary for me, so help me out. Show up. Bring a beer if you want. So otherwise, until next time, do awesome things. I'm out.